You're listening to Saturday Morning Media. And now, back to our show. Here we go.
Welcome to the GrantCast. My name is Grant Baciocco, and it is a pleasure to have you here listening, downloading, checking out this show. Well, I'm recording this on Sunday, June 25th, 2023. It'll probably be some time before you hear it because at the GrantCast, we're doing this every other week schedule. But anyway, just for some reason, I don't know why, I wanted to tell you that this was when it is being recorded. I need sleep. I need a lot of sleep. I don't know what it is. It might part be moving into a new place. It might be the anxiety of selling a house. It might be the anxiety of other things, which I'll talk about here in a second. But what'll happen is I will wake up generally sometime between 2 and 3 in the morning, and then I will go to the restroom, and on the way back, I am awake. I am wide awake, and at the old house, I used to walk to the bathroom, and then I would come back, and I could pretty much fall right back asleep pretty quickly. But for whatever reason here, now this is going to sound weird, but it is a longer path to the bathroom. The bathroom is probably about the same distance away, but it is a longer path to the bathroom here in the new place. So that might be part of it. Like it's just a journey. So I wake up halfway. Not that I sleepwalk and use the bathroom, but anyway, it's just it's the length of time awake. And then I lay awake until 4 or 5, and then I fall asleep. So there you go. I need sleep. So if anybody has any ideas on sleep, now I think the number one thing will be to put the iPad down. But here's the thing. I think it is put the iPad down because I surf for a bit when I get in bed, and then I turn on usually old 1980s wrestling. And I am out like a light. Just as soon as that comes on, there's something about it, I am out. So what I maybe need to do is, and I kind of feel like I need that to fall asleep. So maybe what I do is just as soon as I get in bed, I'm watching the wrestling and then I'm out. Instead of, I don't know, wrestling doesn't necessarily sound like it would be all that relaxing. But maybe that's what I need. Maybe instead of, because I'll either read, I've been reading books. There's a new book by Stephen King that I've been reading, but on the iPad. So maybe that's part of it. I have also been trying to exercise more. I spend a lot of time at my desk posting content, editing things, creating things, writing things, printing out things. And I spend a lot of time at the desk. And I started doing this the other day where I would set my alarm for 40 minutes. And then when it went off, I would get up and I'd go for a walk around the block. And then I would come back, set my alarm again for 40 minutes, get up and walk around the block. And it didn't work. I still woke up at 2:30 last night. But I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking definitely getting more exercise will not hurt in terms of me falling asleep. But if you have any ideas, I would love to know them. And please let me know. I sold some stuff recently. I think I talked about this before, but I sold my LJN WWF wrestling figures. And I sold them to a guy in New Jersey. And they are currently on their way there. This guy asked me, he wanted to buy all of them. I did a quick math of how much they're worth. And then, I was a little generous. But I was like, yeah, this is roughly how much all of these figures worth. I had 50-something of these figures in the package, some in just beautiful condition. And I was like, this is approximately how much they cost. And then when this guy told me his offer, it was the exact same thing. And it was pretty nice. It was a 5-digit number, so it's pretty nice. Now, it's not high 5 digits. It's low 5 digits, but even low 5 digits is pretty freaking fantastic. But now I've sent them to New Jersey, and PayPal is holding the money until the tracking numbers say they arrived. So I sent them on Tuesday, and they're going to get there on Tuesday, supposedly. I think they might get there tomorrow on Monday. But it's this real thing where it's just like, is that money going to be released to me? And am I going to have this? Now, this guy seems super nice. I kind of trust this guy, and it may be blind trust on the internet, but I kind of trust this guy, and I think this will all go smoothly. But it's just a lot of anxiety about it getting there. So then this step 2 was selling my Country Bear Jamboree collection. And so I put out a feeler, and I was just like, hey, if anybody's interested in this, guy got in touch. And then he gave me a price, and it's a little bit low, but I was like, you know what? It's a little low. It's not horrible, but it's a little low, but it's going to get everything out of my studio. And so I will have more room if this happens. And it's also going to be a local pickup. So I don't have to ship it anywhere. I can just give it to the person and I get my money. But then the person said, well, we need a full manifest of everything in the collection. So I spent Thursday from 9 o'clock in the morning until about 5 o'clock in the evening going through every single piece of my Country Bear Jamboree collection. Now, there are a couple pieces that I kept because they have meaning. They're just too much fun. So, of course, I'm going to keep them. And then I sent this manifest off Thursday afternoon. I was like, here's the manifest. And then silence. I don't hear anything from the person. So then I emailed and I said, I just want to make sure that you got this. And the person said, yes, we did. Sorry, day job, blah, 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 blah. We'll get back to you Monday. So that's another thing that I'm just hoping will be done and I can not stress about it because I'm tired of stressing about it. I went to Cal State Long Beach, California State University Long Beach. And the reason I went to California State University Long Beach was because at the time when I was going to college, it was one of only 2 places in the entire country where you could get a master's degree in makeup. And I wanted to do special effects makeup for movies. I had seen the movie Summer School. I thought it was hilarious the way the 2 guys kept coming in with all of their special effects makeup, and I wanted to do that. So I went to Cal State Long Beach, and to make a long story short, the professor of makeup passed away the summer before I got there. So I wound up just studying acting, which I was already interested in anyway, so that's fine. But I just really loved the special effects makeup, and that was my thing. Now, of course, when you start studying makeup in theater, it's a lot of makeup for the stage, right? How do you make yourself look natural for the stage? And it's a lot of old age makeup because it's a bunch of high schooler or college people playing, old people, and very, very little special effects makeup. Now, I got more into the acting, and one thing that those with an acting and director focus needed to do was to do stage crew. You had to do sound, you had to do lighting, you had to do costuming. So I was working on the production of Amadeus, and that was my makeup thing. It's Amadeus. It's just very classical, it was going to be very boring until I found out that at the end of the play, spoiler alert, Salieri slits his throat. And I got very excited. I was like, I would like to do the blood pack and make sure the blood pack is good. So the head of makeup goes, okay, this is how we're going to do it. He's wearing like this little, it's not an ascot, but this little collar thing. And there's a little pouch in there. We put in the pouch at intermission. And then when he goes to slit his throat, he squeezes the pouch with the meat of his hand as he drags the knife across his throat, and there will be blood there. So I said, okay. So I made the first blood pack, and I was so excited. I could not wait to see how this worked. And I was sitting in the back of the theater. This was dress rehearsal. Now, the other thing I will say about this is this play was done on a raked stage, and a raked stage is like the stage is at an angle. So the front of the stage is lower than the top of the stage, and they would just bring set pieces on there. But the stage was painted to look like a marble floor, and it looked like a marble floor. It was pretty amazing. And so the end, and then the costumes, of course, because it's Amadeus, the costumes are crazy. We do this rehearsal the night before open. Jeff Paul was the actor's name who played Salieri. He goes to slit his throat, and blood visible blood squirts from his neck all over the people at the bedside, all over at the floor, all over the costuming, all over the bed sheets on the bed. And I was like, my work here is done. That was the last time I was allowed to do the blood pack for Amadeus. I was told that I could not do it. And when they asked me what I had done, they had to clean costumes. They had to clean the stage. They had to repaint a little bit of something, I think, the night before. The bed sheets had to be changed out. And so the makeup guy goes, how big did you make this blood pack? And I showed him. I was like, like a really big strawberry? And he goes, no, it's like the tip of your thumb. We just want to be able to, he needs to squeeze it and then just see blood on his hands. That's what we need. I was so disappointed. Because here's the other thing. The director and like the stage manager and whatever who were watching in the audience, they audibly gasped when the blood squirted out. And I was just like, oh my God, this is it. I've done it. Bravo to me. But no, sadly, I was not allowed to do the blood pack in Amadeus the way I wanted to do it. I was able to do it for the rest of the run. But anyway, that's all I got to tell you. It is, as I said, it's a Sunday evening. It's June 25th. You know what? I realized today that it wasn't until about 6:30 that I had to put on socks. And I like that. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I just thought that was something I was thinking about today. It's like, it's a good day if it's 6:30 p.m. before you have to put on any socks. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the GrantCast. I want to thank you so much for listening. I want to thank all the Patreon patrons and especially the behind-the-scenes patrons who get to see a video recording of this episode. Appreciate the support. Adding more and more content to the Patreon, so please check it out if you have a mind to. The information will be at the end of this episode. Thank you to my editor, Stephen Staver. Thank you for listening. And let me know how you fall asleep. I will talk to you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Goodbye. This episode of the GrantCast was edited by Stephen Staver, who probably did the artwork as well. This episode was made possible by the Saturday Morning Media Patreon patrons who have gone to patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media and set up a monthly pledge for as little as $1 a month. Big shout out to all of our patrons, and a special shout out to our patron producers, Eve Cunning, Kathy Crawford, Andrew Calcagno, Tony Urbano, Brandy, David Akers, Paul, Scott Armstrong, and Vicky Sebring. Patrons at the behind-the-scenes level and above get access to a video of the recording of this very show, and all patrons get to hear the episodes before they are released. If you'd like to become a patron, head on over to patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media and set up your monthly pledge today. And thank you for your support. This episode of the GrantCast is copyright 2023 Saturday Morning Media, Grant Baciocco, executive producer, all rights reserved. www.saturdaymorningmedia.com.
You've been listening to Saturday Morning Media. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.